Already got the setup too.
Dude! This is the first flight in the last 2 weeks that we haven't actually been late for. What I've said to many employees is my only job is just that, which is I need to make sure that when you and I shake hands, when you're leaving, you can thank me for the journey and you can say that you walked out a better person than when you walked in. Mm-hmm. And that is in all areas, whether that's who they are as a person, whether that's what they know or what they've learned and how good they are at their job, etc., etc. Like, if I could be the one to empower them to feel that way and feel like they're on a journey and feel like they're getting something out of it, then like, I think that's the key, a major key to keeping people for a very, very long time. So what time's the actual event? Oh, you said
the event's at 7.
Boardroom. Oh, yeah. But I think it'll be fine. It's like, we might.
He's on his story the other night. He's like, guys, I've tried everything you can imagine. I've unplugged, I've replugged. I'm like, puts out the story and everything.
Oh my god, it worked! What the fuck?
You should set that time weekly in the diary where it is a proper, just objective chat around what has actually occurred in that last week.
I've reached out to 3 already, but haven't got back to me. So like let's get everything designed, everything built, so we can send, when we actually work with him, we can send him through all the brand guidelines, all the decks, everything.
There's that. If you want to go through that list, you want to have a look after, great.
As soon as we have all the design guidelines, we get it made up. We may as well get it sooner rather than later.
Just kind of, we can use the last 3 minutes to talk about that.
Yep.
I would want to pressure your thoughts on, I just have another simple idea around what we could call it. The meeting that I just had was with a good friend of mine named Chris Griffin. And Chris is an incredible guy, and we've been discussing over the last couple of weeks getting into a partnership together. The product itself that we want to create is going to completely revolutionize the skincare industry, we believe, and we're going to do things differently than what everyone's doing. So as we've been talking about this, we haven't really met in person. We haven't really sat down to kind of think about what a partnership would look like, specifically who's doing what are the areas of responsibility, but how are we going to bring this thing to life in the shortest possible time? A partnership for me is, and I think for anyone watching this, it's one of the most important things to get right. It is almost like a marriage. It's like this human connection that you have with someone where in business you go through virtually everything. There's emotions, there's decisions, there's things that need to be done, and people have different skill sets and people have different views. And I think the real skill and this real ability is to be able to work with people and to get the best outcome. So that was our conversation today, to figure out how we are going to do that together, how each one of us is going to work to be able to bring this thing to life. But specifically, what do we need to do? Starting next week, like, what is the actual action plan? We have 8 weeks. We kind of decided to get a product to market. So starting next week, it is how are we kind of coming up with this chemical formulation for the skincare product? How do we figure out things like packaging? How do we figure out things like a website design? How do we figure things out like the marketing and the marketing plan? Because even in 8 weeks, you have to have all the marketing and the content shot, produced, and ready to go, even before you launch the product, because people need to know what this thing is and how do we start talking about it. So there are so many things to go and figure out, but at least the purpose of today's conversation is we don't want to be pedestrian. We don't want to leave this thing for weeks. So how do we start today, and how do we get this to market in the shortest possible time whilst bringing the most incredible product to market and starting a brand that we are proud of and something that the market can look at and people can believe in. And we want to do that, but we don't want to take months to do it. So that's the goal. That was the purpose of the conversation today. There's way more that we'll share on this over the next couple of weeks, but just getting in person and having these conversations face to face, I don't think anything beats it. So if there's one thing we can get out of this Melbourne trip, then that's going to be it.
So that's back around this way.
Do we get past the traffic from the start?
Bro, 300 meters in. How you feeling?
Pretty good.
The sweat's starting. I would have thought that I have a longer stride, but no. I think it works. Dude,
For some reason I didn't think Melbourne had a beach, but apparently it does. So beautiful. You guys turn left.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
That way.
All right. Peace out, vlog.
See you soon.
Thank you so much.
So we've just finished at this networking event here in the middle of Melbourne. We found out about this at 12 o'clock today, and it's meant to be cocktail attire, and I'm definitely not wearing cocktail attire. But these networking things are always interesting because you turn up and it's in a room full of people that you don't know, and you kind of have this fear inside of you. It's almost like this kid where you don't really know what to say. As much as you're confident in your own story, you still just don't know what story you actually want to go and tell. So trying to go to as many of these things as I possibly can, whether it's investors that I've met, whether it's customers that I've met, whether it's any opportunity in business, has always been something that served me well.